cut me too deep. I think I'm dying here, man.
Welcome to the 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
It was fun.
Aw, yeah. It's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
Evil and Raj, am I dead?
Maybe. Do you have staples in the back of your head? Can I comb your hair in a bath?
Yeah, I don't imagine you would find any tangles, but that's a hell of a tangle.
I use that Oops All Tangles or whatever the fuck that baby shampoo, no tangle baby shampoo. Oops All Tangles. That's the exact opposite.
This is just hot water. That's all this is.
And one of our favorite things about this film is apparently when you die, you come back with Forrest Whitaker eye. So you don't look like you have a Forrest Whitaker eye this morning. So
I mean, that was going to be my plot synopsis is things get buried, things come back with Forrest Whitaker lazy eye.
That's perfect. There it is. I was going to say jump into the plot synopsis, but you already handled it. If you guys remember...
If you don't know, by the way, we're talking Pet Sematary 2019.
2019. So 4 weeks ago, when we jumped into the Micmac Burial Ground, we covered the original of this. And now we are at the remake, which is similar to the original film, but it has some of its own different elements. And we've had some time to grow with this movie. I know you've seen it now officially twice. Saw it when it came out and just rewatched it for the coverage of the podcast. And now with it fresh in your mind, does it hold up for you? Or were you like, this is too Hollywood?
You know, I feel it has a bit of 2010 Elm Street going for it. I'm not sure where it wants to be its own movie or wants to be exactly what we saw the first time around. Like, there's some shit it's like, why are you doing this?
For trailer moments only.
Because we did this pretty much for just the first movie. Like, the first thing that popped into my mind is a man's heart is stonier. Mm-hmm. Like, it has more weight, and I can understand what that means. Or at least what I thought it meant to me in the first one. It's said in this one just really kind of willy-nilly by Judd, and I'm like, that don't make any sense in his where he placed it this time.
Right.
So some of that stuff, some of the Zelda stuff, some things are just a little bit like they're too much the same, but it's just a hair, like they're like, let's just change up enough to be different in air quotes.
Yeah, and we got to address the elephant in the room 100%, and that
Which
is...
elephant? Because I feel like I've mini spoiler for 1 stars. I thought for sure rewatching it, I was like, I bet this movie gets super like the woke 1-star ratings for some of the shit they do, like switching out Pascal from a white kid,
ginger kid.
Yeah, to a black man, and we went from killing Gage and bringing him back to we'll flip that shit, and now it's Ellie instead. But the weirdest inverted shit I saw looking at the credits in the first movie, Ellie's character was twins. In this one, Gage was fucking twins.
Bum bum bum. And Gage has barely anything to do in this movie.
Gage is useful in this movie for exactly 1.5 scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. For the old bait and switch with the Orinco truck, but
that's the 0.5, and the 1 is for the last second of the film.
Yeah. So the elephant in the room that I just want to discuss is, if you guys remember 4 weeks ago when we covered this first film, Evil and I both kind of have a, I don't want to say, like, I guess a problem. Yeah, we have a problem, and it does leave a stain, and that is the character of Zelda. Zelda in the first film is so utterly terrifying that I feel like when this movie was remade, maybe subconsciously, like both of us were like, holy fuck, what are they going to do with 2019 Zelda or whatever fucking year this movie came out. Like, we were like, what could it be? How scary is it gonna be? And it, to me, is the biggest letdown in this movie. She is not scary in any way, shape, or form.
I think it might have been if we had any more time with her, but we don't get enough visual time with her to get that. And I feel like that Zelda from part 1 is so powerful. I'm still thinking it's that Zelda that's fucking stomping across the floor upstairs.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is like, when we're watching the movie, we have this feeling in our gut, like, especially the first time, because we hadn't seen Zelda yet. So, like, we have this feeling in our gut, like, oh man, she's going to tell the Zelda story. Like, we have it built up so much, and we're already like a fucking rubber band that's like wound up. We're like, oh, the tension is there. And then when we got it, it was just like, really, that's it? Like, I remember seeing it in theaters and like white knuckle, like gripping my wife's hand. Yeah, like,
here it comes.
I am not ready to see 25 feet of Zelda. And then I was like, now, oh, okay. Like, so I'm still bitter about it, to be honest.
I mean, there's two scenes of the movie that I'll have to reveal, because the wife was sitting next to me and she's like, I'm gonna be fucking around on my phone and doing photo edits while you're watching this for review. But she did look up and pretty much stick with the movie for the most part. And two scenes that really stuck out to her, I'll get to. One of which is Zelda and the dumbwaiter. But I was curious if you felt this, because this is what I mean when I say it feels like 2010 Elm Street. As in, this is an hour and 40 minutes. But it feels like we get the shit way too quickly.
Yeah.
There's no breathing time.
No, and it's weird because, like, you can put... If you were to have two TVs and put both movies on simultaneously, they probably do...
Probably hit about the same stuff.
Right? But...
Why is that? Why does it feel like this movie is rushing to get to all the... like the bullet points, and the other one feels like it's naturally kind of progressing to those?
I think it has to do with a couple of things. One, which we talked about 4 weeks ago, is the overall look, the color grading of the first film kind of has this like dank, dark, muted, like...
This one I feel has that a bit, not as much, but I was like, oh, it had more than I thought it did.
Right.
Upon rewatching,
but it is still a little too clean, and I think like, okay,
I know exactly what moment is coming into my head for what you're talking about, and it's climbing to the. They don't even say it's a tribal or Indian burial ground now. They kind of allude to it through. Research sequences, but the journey to this place feels like Lord of the Rings kind of shit.
Yeah,
like, it is way too fantastical darkness, like it looks like Neverending Story kind of stuff. The set piece, and it doesn't feel like they're there.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's very.
At all.
Oh yeah, especially when Judd sits down to smoke, and we've got the lightning in the background, which is not practical at all.
But it does work in only one instance, and it's the dream sequence. Like when Pascal is leading Lewis during that retelling scene, that re-scene, him coming out of his bedroom and literally walking into the burial, like that looks really cool. Like, there it works. And then when you get there in real life, it looks the exact same, and I'm like, this ain't as cool now.
Yeah, and I think that's because like those elements of like green screen skies and whatever, that like studio backlot, that weird like it's not quite real thing, works very well for a dream, because dreams are just kind of like simulations of reality. But then when it's supposed to be real, then it still looks like that. It's like, well, shit, you know. So,
and it feels like he takes Judd takes Lewis for like. It feels like a Lord of the Rings journey, like past where all the sticks were. It feels like it takes hours to get to this place. And even if I was Lewis, I'd be like, can we just stop? Like, why do we have to keep going so far?
Why is this And this is on my property? Yeah, this
You
is
want
on
me to
your
walk
property.
through a fucking foot?
Like a marsh? Yeah, walk through that marsh.
Yeah, he wants to walk through like a foot of dank water. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing. I'll just bury him here at the shore of it.
I'm
if
just throwing the
no.
cat in the foot of water.
Yeah,
giving it
yeah.
the burial at sea.
Yeah, the Once Upon a Time in Mexico Cheech Marin funeral.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
So, but there are things in this movie that I really do feel like they work. And it's a shame, especially after re-watching it, like going back, and I've probably seen it 3 or 4 times, but like every time I watch it, I'm like, man, like they were so close to like knocking it out of the park. But then I just feel like it's a, you know, it's a few decisions away from being like as memorable as the original Pet Sematary. First of all is the choice, like you said, to kill Ellie instead of Gage. And I think
the wife totally thought for a hot second in that sequence that they were both gonna go.
yeah,
She's like, holy shit, they're gonna take both the kids. Which I would have been more kind of on board with that. Way darker and way more depressing.
Yeah.
But I've been like, that'd have been a left fielder for sure. Like, instead of just flipping the script on it, like, fuck it, let's take them both out and see how this handles on them.
Yeah, and I think for this movie, it works really well with killing Ellie because she is at an age where she can actually act, and she is a sweet girl. Like the whole movie leading up to her passing, you know, she's not a bad actress. And you and I both have daughters, so it's very easy to kind of put ourselves in those like parental shoes, just like it was with the original movie. So it's a nice little departure, but I feel like this is where it works better because Ellie, as the age that she is a smidge more threatening than, you know, like Gage, because that's what we talked about with the first movie. Is where it kind of falls apart is when we're expected to, you know, Gage Superman dive out of the attic and fuck up his dad, and you know, it's like it starts to get it's just a little too slapsticky and goofy. But when you got like a 3.5, 4 foot tall kid that just like, it looks like your kid, but it is not your kid, and they talk and they have these weird emotions, like, dude,
it works all the way up until she's dragging her mom from the house
that's
to
exactly
the burial site, and they're like, nope.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah,
even if it's like, even if your significant other is only 4 foot nothing and 110 pounds, a 9-year-old is still not dragging that shit a country mile and then up all this terrain and all this stuff. Like, still, that's the one most unbelievable part of this series,
right,
is the burying and dragging people.
Well, and so I do want to I want to address that, because in this movie,
yes,
they're like Wendigos. They're like Wendigos inside of So
they allude to that. That's the in place of the Micmac
right
Indians, as they're talking, like they allude to these Wendigos.
So
loons.
Yeah, so that's like our
big ass birds dragging people up a hill.
But my issue is, so this is not your 9 or 10-year-old daughter, right? She just had her 9th birthday when she dies, I think.
Dies on her 9th birthday.
And so it isn't your 9-year-old daughter. It is a Wendigo, a demon, or whatever they are. It's a monster, so it is strong. But the visual cue of it is a 9-year-old kid carrying a full-grown body, and that's where the issue is, because like no matter how you shoot that, it does look silly and it doesn't look believable. Even though we spend the time with like when she turns her face into Judd's wife. I
thought was a pretty cool, and I guess that's part of the original book, is that once the dead come back, they kind of more or less talk shit about people and really kind of find ways to verbally abuse them. Nice. So I like that was something that they brought in, and even though we're never introduced to Judd's wife in on camera, having that scene I thought that was cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's effective. There's a lot of effective things in this movie. And I actually feel like Church is fairly menacing in this movie. Like, Not as cool as the church in the original. Like, there's something about that charcoal gray cat, you know. But this is
modernized.
Yeah, modernized. It's close. It's okay.
It's not bad. Yeah. The cat kind of grows on you.
The other issue that I have, and we even have with the original film, is when an Orinco truck hits you, there's nothing left. You know what I mean? Like, you are inverted. You're a wet taco. Like, it's just over. So in this movie, the Orinco truck swerves to miss Gage, goes on its side, and slides into Ellie, which would literally just flatten her. She would look like a fruit roll-up. Like, it would be disgusting. But we get, like, no blood.
In theory, but I feel like they did a good job. They don't show it, but I get the impression of like she, like it dinged off the side of her. Like, it's like if she's on the side of the road, it kind of hits her and she kind of reflects off of it. From where she is, because they show her where she is in the grass,
in the ditch. Yeah,
which is more a believable method of killing her and not making her, you know, a pancake.
I don't know why, but all of a sudden a scene from fucking Scary Movie popped in my head. It's a boot. Where's the foot?
No, we didn't get a shoe flying off in this one. We just see her off on the side of the road, and that I don't know what it was, but it didn't affect the wife in the first movie watching that. Like, she just kind of watched it, and she was the one who pointed out to me the Polaroids are on the asphalt road. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, we're watching this one. Maybe it's because we both have girls and can put ourselves in the shoes a little too easier. She had a real hard time with the death scene and the funeral scene. Like, she was really kind of like, fuck this movie shit. Mm-hmm. Which is hilarious because I put the movie on and the 13-year-old was hanging out with me during the day. We watched like Freddy's Dead, a couple other movies, and I went to put this on because she's like, you need to rewatch that for the podcast. I'm like, I know, I'll put it on. And as soon as I did, she picked up all her shit and she's like, well, I'm gonna go.
Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
Yeah. Pretty much.
You have ruined her with the original. So she ain't even trying to play that with that remake. So she hasn't seen that at all, huh?
No, she got the opening credits. She was gathering up all her shit she had on the couch. She's like, well, I'll check you out later. And the wife's like, I'm really not interested in watching this probably ever again. Just because, it definitely hit her in a spot. But she did laugh her ass off at the dumb waiter sequence with Zelda. And she was like, how the fuck she get in there?
Yeah,
She's got spinal meningitis, man. You could fit in small crevices. I don't know.
I think the proper term is spina bifida.
Spina bifida? And it's one of the bifidas.
Yeah, and she definitely still needs a bacchiotomy. So, no, I hate that scene too. I hate that.
Well, I kind of liked it the first time I watched it. I'll be honest. The first time I watched it, I was like, that's an interesting twist. And it is kind of funny, but it's
just a jump scare. It's just a fucking cop-out jump scare.
It is, but they play it pretty well with the medicine cabinet later. Yeah. And then when she goes back home for after the funeral, like it has something to it. Like, it has an it factor. It's not all the way there, but it's like, oh, they're on to something. They're 2010 Elm Street tapping right there. Like, oh, there's something here they could go with.
Yeah, like we're getting close.
But they don't. Yeah.
So did you happen to watch the special features and or deleted scenes?
I knew you would ask, because I did not.
So
not this time around. I know I watched them the first time, but that was shit. It's weird that 2019's already been 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah, almost 5 years. There is a delete, like, I don't know if it's not necessarily a deleted scene.
I know there's 2 or 3 alternate endings I did not watch. I know you've watched those.
Yeah, but I
can't remember them.
It's not necessarily a scene. I think it's just like a companion to the movie, and that's John Lithgow as Judd telling the Timmy Baterman story again. Because if you notice, the Timmy Baterman story is not in the final cut. So they just have him.
Isn't it though in the it's in the researching sequence, isn't it? Like
they show like a Timmy Baterman, like a newspaper or something maybe, but like
it's in the microfiche when he's not microfiche shit. Man, I'm really going back too far.
Old school
on his compact Presario.
Yeah.
He's looking at shit and seeing like a cow coming back to life, and Vietnam veteran not in at his own funeral kind of thing. So
yeah,
we get it. We just get droplets
the cliff
of
notes.
it.
Yeah,
if you're paying attention. If you're not, you will totally not see it.
Which is 100% like a nod to the old audience going, hey, remember Timmy Baterman? But the retelling of the story in the special features, I recommend, like, when we get done with this podcast, if you just go through those special features since you didn't have time yesterday and watch that. So here's, I don't know, like John Lithgow is no Fred Gwynn, right? But John Lithgow
is good.
Is a fucking heavyweight. He is phenomenal. And it's criminal when you watch this movie because you are watching it and you're going, yeah, but he's not Fred Gwynn. And that's like a disservice to John Lithgow because he's so fucking good. And he does great in this movie. But it's like, I have like an internal struggle with like...
I'm curious if he had done the accent, what that would have pushed, positive or negative. If he had tried doing the main accent, what that would have done.
I don't know.
I mean, he's just playing it as John Lithgow, but he looks good, sounds good. He builds that relationship well. They do a pretty good job, I feel, of in the first movie we get that he's the bad angel on the shoulder kind of thing, pushing him in directions. In this one, he seems a bit more innocent, even though he still is like wanting to be the one to be he's like the driver for things going into motion with the church cat.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I feel like he would have... Like, the redemption difference is Fred Gwynn more or less didn't stop
he just...
Lewis from the first go-around. This one, Lewis knows enough ahead of time to literally drug Judd so he will not stop him from doing what he's going to do.
And Judd was going to, because Judd knew what he was thinking. And that scene when they're sitting around the campfire and they're just,
That's when Lewis totally has the, like, he's turned face. Like, Lewis isn't here no more. Reason and logic have left. They are officially gone.
Yeah, Doctor be damned. He's now full-blown mad scientist Victor Frankenstein. Like, he wants his family back. He's not...
I need more time. I didn't have enough time.
Yep. But on the flip side of the John Lithgow argument, I always forget this actor's name, the new Louis Creed, which we talked about.
Dude from Terminator Genesis is all I know him from.
And War for the Planet of the Apes. Not War, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. But I do not like this guy. And I want to. I wish I did.
He has a strange face.
Yeah, he has a very, like, it's like a potato with eyes. It's kind of strange in curly hair.
Do you think he would have been, if we didn't have John Lithgow, do you think he would have been a good Judd?
I don't think so. He's not old enough. You know what I mean?
He kind of looks like he could be old enough. If you let his hair kind of grow out, get him some facial hair, like how he looks at the end of this movie.
Yeah. I suppose
I feel like he could have maybe done that role. But Dale Midkiff is missed.
Yeah, Dale Midkiff runs laps around this fool.
But he's not bad. Like, he grows on me. When I first see him, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. But by the time we get halfway through to 3/4, I'm like, I'm accepting of it.
Yeah. So here's my thing. He's not a bad actor at all. Like, I'm not discounting his talent.
No.
It literally is, and this is so, like, vain and shallow of me. Like, it literally is a look. Like, I'm so, like, predisposed to Dale Midkiff or, like, just this, like, a leading man has a, like, specific look, or like a father has a specific look. I would accept Matt Frewer over this guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
gosh, that'd have been interesting.
Matt Frewer as a dad, or like Terry O'Quinn. Like,
what if we redo this and we have Matt Frewer as Judd and you hire Rick Moranis as
let's do it
as Lewis. We just totally do the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids cast and redo it here.
But you know who would be a good dad, but he's no longer with us, is, why can I not think of his name? The father from Home Alone.
Oh. Yeah, I can't think of it either.
Yeah, no, he was amazing. Like, that's what I'm saying, like a father look that can be like,
Yeah.
And that's like because it's such a big role in the movie, like there's so much range of like being a happy dad, being sad, being scared, being angry. Like Lewis gets to do all of these emotions, and it's not that guy is bad at doing those emotions. I just have a hard time seeing him as Lewis Creed, and
Hard time seeing as Lewis, and his movie wife Rachel seems way too young for how he looks. Now it could be similar in age, I don't know, but when I see her, I kept seeing what's her name, the girl.
Kate Beckinsale?
No, not Kate Beckinsale. She reminded me of the one from Old School, Blonde. She ended up doing her own movie where she was a former porn star. The Girl Next Door.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that actress's name, but I know who you're talking about.
I can't think of it off the top of my head either, but I kept just thinking it was her. I guess it's actually her big role that we would know her from is she's the one who tries to do the full-fledged running sequence in You're Next and gets her throat hit on the wire, which I did not recognize. The wife's like, I know her. She's from You're Next.
I'm the fastest one in the family. Yeah, because it kind of has a little bit of like an Adam Sandler movie thing. Like Adam Sandler's kind of like a doofy, homely-looking dude, and every wife he ever has is like Kate Beckinsale. Selma Hayek. Like, these ladies are way out of your league, dude. You wear gym shorts and like... You're a Jewish dude with gym shorts.
So that's why you always wear gym shorts, Rod. You're trying to really waiting for Selma Hayek to come to the door.
Goddamn right. Well, my daughter loves to tell me I dress like Adam Sandler, and I'm like, well, he's a fucking billionaire, so...
he makes Netflix movies and gets to hook up on screen with Kate Beckinsale and Selma Hayek.
Yeah. So
I'd love to have that life.
If I dress like Adam Sandler, I'll take it, but it is what it is. I want to talk a little bit about the bait and switch ending too, because I kind of feel like that ending comes out of nowhere.
Oh yeah,
it's too fast. Like,
it feels like shit's like shit. We only got 3 minutes left. Wrap it up.
Yeah, like she comes home with Gage. Although I will say that scene when she comes through the door and then
pretty good. Hug your daughter.
Yeah, hug your daughter. Like,
that's good. Like, again, there's like
that's a trailer moment too, though.
There's the highlights of like, here it is. It could be good. It could be really, really good and different right here. Mm-hmm. Gone.
And then like it flies by so fast because it's like, yeah, I dug her up, I buried her, and now she's back and we're good. And then they have like their little argument, and then Lewis sees that I can't remember. Does he call Judd? Something happens where he's like, I got to go to Judd's. And he just, leaves his wife there with the undead daughter.
Yeah, why the fuck did he go over to Judge? I don't even remember now why. And I just watched it here.
Because he drugged him, and then I think he's
he drugged him. He came over. He comes over the next day, and he's like knocking on the door, and he's in just like the wife sees his fingers are all fucked up, and you can tell he's been in the mud and shit. Like, you ain't been doing shit you shouldn't be doing, right, Lewis?
Yeah, with the fucking muddy footprints, the little girl's footprints leading up to the door and everything.
Yeah, I was trying to think why he went back to Judd's after when Judd got stabbed with that scalpel.
Which, that's a decent scene, too. I mean, we talked about the face transformation, but, like, this one does a good job of, like, subverting your expectations with you're supposed to get the scalpel under the bed, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and then we finally get it on the steps, so...
Yeah, that's good. I just would have replaced the weapon instead entirely this time. Like, go ahead and go different. Like, you don't have to redo that. Like, there's a total scene where I feel like they redo shit from the first one. They didn't have to. Yeah, just because. I'm like, they don't have to do this. You could do something different.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but it's like, you could have done something different.
Yeah, I mean, you're not reinventing the wheel, but just switch it up a little bit,
Yeah, make it a drift wheel instead of a regular tire.
Absolutely. But like the ending does, it's like a 1-2 pop. It fucking comes out of nowhere. And
we have no scene where Lewis is a hero doing the vanquishing.
Yeah, we don't get that.
Like we do in the first one. We do not get that at all here.
So, and that's the ending of this movie. Like, it comes out of nowhere where you get Ellie killing her mother and taking her to the pet cemetery, and then
Lewis wakes up from shovel to the face.
yeah, and like so you think Lewis is gonna kill Ellie. Like that's the closest we get to his hero moment is like he's choking her or whatever, and then he gets stabbed out of nowhere by the mom, who is now lickety split a corpse. Like lickety split. I mean, that feels like it happened in 5 minutes. Whereas opposed to the other burials, like you said, it's a Lord of the Rings-esque trek. Like it takes forever. And I know we talked about it when we talked about the first movie, that when Lewis buries his wife,
He has time to go home, play cards, and fall asleep.
yeah, but like we get the abridged version of him burying her. Like we don't see him carry her all the way. We see him like take her out. We see like the path, you know, like, but for some reason it still feels like it's got that like length and that.
And that one it feels like he goes to fully mentally snap. You know, I just didn't bury her quick enough. That's the problem. I'll bury her immediately this time. It'll work. And this one, they switch everything kind of up on how the order is, and then it's just kind of like the best moment you got is he just has his foot on Ellie, and she totally kind of, I feel like she goes Evil Dead a little bit with like they do rapid speed of her just like a little kid is trying to get out from underneath his foot. I think it's this movie's equivalent of No Fair.
Yeah.
And then he's just speared, and then it's over.
Yeah, and then like we're gonna kill Gage. You know, we're gonna unlock the door. Boop boop. And
that was
Gage.
good. And there's the Gage's good scene right there.
Yeah, looking out the window.
Yeah, because we get the cat back. The cat jumps on the hood of the car. Gage has been left in the car all night. Thank God it's not summertime. He's on the car. The undead family returns, and then your last moment of the movie is the car door unlocking. The whoop whoop.
Yeah,
and even the wife had a look of like, oh shit.
Yeah, they're toast.
Which really, I mean, when you get to the end of the first movie, Ellie is the only one that's still alive in theory. And even though we don't know what happens next, because cut to black, we know without knowing.
Yeah, we know.
And I've even heard rumblings that they're still planning on doing more of these.
Yeah, I did. I heard that maybe a week ago. I think Bloody Disgusting maybe did an article or something.
Maybe, but I'm like, man, where do you go from here?
Yeah, and so here's the issue with this ending.
But I mean, 2 did the same shit that I'm talking about right now, so what do I know?
Just do whatever you want for the scene.
Yeah, do whatever the hell you want. Bring Eddie Furlong back again.
So the issue with this ending, and I mean, you already alluded to it, is like, he was like, I'm going to bury her because I need to bury her. I didn't bury the other ones fast enough and everything will be okay. Like, that's the original. So like, there's a reason. There is an absolute reason behind like burying these people, is because he doesn't want to let his family go. And in this movie, it's just Ellie killing people and burying them and bringing them back. Why?
She just wants company.
So yeah, because it's not you're not your family. Like you're not you. You're these Wendigos or whatever. So like, what is the purpose? What's the purpose of
strength in numbers?
I suppose you're gonna take and see, and that's where it gets weird, because then it's like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna kill the whole town and bury them and then like take over the world? Like, it doesn't. It has a different vibe than the first one, because the first one feels like it's out of desperation, and this one feels like it's a monster trying to take over the world.
What you do next, I guess.
Yeah. Strange.
I don't know.
Just a very strange way to end the movie, and I think if I could remember correctly, like even in the theater, like my first viewing was like, huh.
So Pascal, more of a ghost in this movie than I feel he's trying to be a guide in the original movie. Is there any cut scenes more of him? I feel like there should have been more of him.
I think there are one or two. It's been.
He doesn't do enough. I feel he should be doing. So there probably is more.
When I rewatched the movie, I did the same thing you did. I was like, I saw those deleted scenes once. You know what I mean? And now I can't fucking remember them for the life of me.
That's new movies for you. Like, was it good? Yeah. What do you remember? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing sticks with us anymore. Nothing new has sticking power anymore. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's old age. They don't make them like they used to. I don't know. But anything good now, even if it's really good, it's hard for us to be like, I remember that.
Yeah. I think it's just because we're getting older. That's just part of it. Like, I need a movie needs to weasel its way into my, like, my background movies. Like, it needs to weasel its way into, like, my everyday life.
Pet Cemeteries, I don't know. First and third one, I don't know will ever be in that.
Yeah, exactly.
place.
Like I said, I watch the first Pet Sematary maybe once a year and a half. Like, I'll throw it on and go, God damn it, that still really fucking
heavy.
affects me in all the wrong ways. Like, I love it, but I don't love it. And so with this one, like, I feel like this one is like it tries to be more fun. And like you said, it's real snappy. It feels
snappy.
It feels snappy. So it's like easier to digest, I think. Watching this one is easier to digest than like
A bit. Not much, but
Yeah.
a bit. We don't get a whole lot of time with actual pets, which is a big, like, deterrent for me anyway. But, of course, it doesn't make it any easier now with a 9-year-old girl. The color grading is there, but not entirely there. Yeah, like, I feel like I'm telling you, it's got a real 2010 Elm Street kind of vibe to it. And I don't know if there's a better movie hidden in there, but it's possible.
I remember, like, I'm having a hard time remembering the exact alternate endings, but I remember us having a conversation when I bought this Blu-ray. Like, there is an alternate ending that is
That you like better.
far, far superior. And I can't remember how it fucking plays out. So after this podcast, I'm going to go grab it, throw it on, and send you some Snapchats. So anyone who's listening,
That's our life now. Is that's the pinpoint exact thing about movies nowadays. Old man shaking fist at the sky, as you would say.
yeah.
I don't remember a goddamn thing. Like, even re-putting the movie on, even though I watched it a few years ago. There's some movies you can watch, and you'll kind of remember at least some bullet point shit. I could remember a damn thing, Harley, about this movie. Nothing. What's that say about it?
I guess that it is kind of it's a little forgettable.
That could be just us, though. That totally could just be us. I don't know.
Right. So I applaud this movie, but like, it missed the mark on a couple things that I think could have made it a great movie. And I think if it had become a great movie, at least in our eyes, that it might have been rewatched more often. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's the difference. Like, if you watch a movie and you go, it was okay, it sits on the shelf for a very long time until someone else wants to watch it. And then you go, yeah, I watched it again and it was still just okay.
It doesn't have the Baby Driver.
Yeah.
This will never break the Baby Driver formula. I will never twice on a week be like, you know what, let's do that again.
Yeah, exactly.
For better or worse on this one. Probably 50-50, because it's like it's effective enough to have a bit of that stain, but also it's something that's been made recently, and I don't know what it is. Just something about something maybe post 2009 or 10. It's like, all right, it's getting kind of sketchy for me to remember and want to rewatch a lot of movies. I don't know what it is.
I think the issue is that it's not really like our bread and butter. It's not our wheelhouse type of movie. Like, if it was fun, say like Baby Driver, or I mean, let's use a different slasher from around this time. Let's say Strangers Pray at Night. You know what I mean? Like, that is fun.
That's fun, but I've only probably watched that maybe 2 or 3 times.
Oh, Jesus. I probably watched that movie. I've probably seen it 30 times by now. Like,
I even have the scapegoat if I have the digital copy of it, so I don't have to get up off the couch to find my copy of it. I can just throw it on digitally, whatever I'm watching, and I still don't really get to it a great deal.
it's super good. But I mean, like,
It's not bad at all, no. But I still can't bring myself to, like, yeah, let's do it. Wife is the same, and she loves The Strangers. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Your Next, there you go. Like, Your Next is one you guys watch on a frequent
Okay, Your Next. Yeah, that one breaks the rules right there.
Yeah, because like,
That
I could
breaks
watch
Baby
it.
Driver.
I could watch it and then watch it the next day. Like, it's fun. It's just
True.
a fun movie. So,
True.
I mean, there are certain movies that really kind of hit home for us, and it's because they have a little bit lighter approach to the subject matter.
True, but I feel like 7 could break the Baby Driver rule if it was new today.
Yeah, I mean, it still breaks the Baby Driver rule. Like, I could, if I watch it, then like after I'm done watching it, I'm like, damn, that was good. Why don't I watch that more often? I should watch that again. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you want to watch something equivalent to it, and you can't find anything, so you just rewatch it again. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of do. Like
kind
Silence of the Lambs, Bone Collector.
Bone Collector, there you go. There's my double feature right there.
Yeah. So I mean, all in all, like in the long run, like this is a good movie. And I feel like if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, even though we've just spoiled the absolute shit
what are you doing?
Like, it's worth checking out. And if you have watched it once and you didn't care a great deal for it, I think it's worth throwing back on and looking at these things. And same thing with those deleted scenes and special features in general. Like, if you've only seen this movie once, like you saw it in theaters and you never saw this on physical media and never watched those deleted scenes, special features, interviews, those are worth watching, because just like Elm Street 2010, when we covered that on our YouTube channel and our podcast,
and here.
there's like flashes of brilliance in it.
Yeah.
And so you know that there is a really good movie in there. And when you watch those deleted scenes, even though I'm having a hard time placing them and remembering them, I do remember when I watched them that they should have all been left in. I remember saying that, like, all of these make this a better movie. Nothing in it is like filler, fluff, you know. It's all things that make it hurt more, which makes it a better movie.
Well, time to check those things out, I suppose.
Absolutely. Right after this podcast.
But that's positive thinking.
True.
Time to switch that up and go the negative route. It's time for them 1-star reviews.
Hated it.
I hated it.
Oh, and they do.
I you know what? I'm not surprised. This is that era. Is 2019 when the Child's Play remake came out too, which you still haven't got to, by the way, for anyone listening. This 4 years old movie that Evil has sitting next to his TV and hasn't watched yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think the world was just ready to hate everything. So I knew there was going to be some hatred on the internet for this one.
Some. Marcella Nursement. August 3rd, 2019. 1 star. Totally disappointed in this remake.
Straight to the point.
Raymond Madrid. September 25th, 2019. 1 star. I didn't order this product.
Johnny Madrid's brother did not order this product.
No, sir. Carla, January 3rd, 2020. 1 star.
The Carla?
Mm-hmm.
She's famous.
Married to Turk.
She's in Smile, by the way. She's in Smile, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Carla says 1 star. Bad movie.
That's it?
George Lynch. August 10th, 2019. 1 star. Garbage. What a horrible remake. Wish I would have rented it before buying.
Joe Lynch's dad does not like this movie.
That'd be fucked up. His name is George.
He doesn't like it because his son did not get to make it.
Molly Gerhold, June 27th, 2019. 1 star. Terrible. Absolutely hate remakes. Hollywood is killing all the classics. Don't waste your money.
Yep, that's one of them.
You're one of them.
I used to be one of them.
Leak.
Multiple
August
L's.
3rd, 2019. Yeah, August 3rd, 2019. 1 star. Awful. This was a sheer disappointment. The first movie was wonderful. This is a cheap remake. It's certainly not worth the money. It hardly kept my attention. Nothing likable about it. I would not waste my money. Wish I had known. Stick with the original.
I would not waste my money, but you did.
But you did.
Yeah, unless someone invited you over to watch it, like, you had to have paid for it. At least
Pirating.
once. Oh yeah, probably.
Pirating. 2020
Pirate a
pirating.
movie and then go on Amazon and complain about how bad it sucks. That is 2019 in a nutshell.
Tell me it's 2019 without telling me it's 2019 right there.
I got it off Pirate Bay and then went on the internet to complain.
Brian. How about that?
Okay. Like Brian.
Brian. Not Brian. Brian. August 5th, 2019. 1 star. Not a fan. Thought this movie would be similar to the original, but they changed the whole storyline. I think they should stop remaking the old movies because they never seem to be as good as the originals.
It's just an existing IP that has a built-in fan base, and I used to complain so much, but now I'm like, we're just gonna have to get used to that. Like that's just the way
That's
it
where
is.
the money is. Yeah,
Yep.
that's 90% of what we're gonna get, and 10% of shit that's gonna slip through the cracks. That's new shit.
Yep.
Cat. July 12th, 2019 says 1 star. Horrible. OMG. I had more fun and excitement watching paint dry. Sad face. Boring, so slow. The acting affected me like nails scraping against, or across, instead of against, across a chalkboard. Nothing will ever meet the great original. I was so excited, couldn't wait for this remake to be available. Save your money.
Oof. Dang. That's like the most in-depth one we've had so far, though.
We got a couple more. This is from Yo.
Yo.
All
right.
August 9th, 2019, 1 star. Fail. Some things are better left alone.
Sometimes unremade is better.
Yeah. And my favorite 1 star of all of them had to be this last one. There aren't too many funny ones that I was kind of hoping for that I normally get, except for this one. I like this one from Marilyn T. November 4th, 2019. 1 star. I didn't like it. Too much killing.
What do you expect?
I mean, maybe she thought with misspelling of cemetery in the title, maybe they'd already all be dead.
Maybe. I mean, but like, I don't know. I was going to say, it's a remake. Like how, what, where?
Not everybody would know. I don't think not everybody knows it's a remake.
Yeah. I mean.
Some people, believe it or not, there's going to be some people who see It and It Chapter 2 and think that's the first Stephen King things they've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And they're going to see Pet Sematary based just off that.
So, sidebar, speaking of It, my daughter, for like the past 3 years, has not had a TV or DVD player in her room. She was just like, I don't want one. And then...
unfathomable.
I know, right?
me.
And then a while back, she was like, can I have a TV and DVD player in my room to watch the movies, like when I'm in there, like hanging out? And I'm like, well, yeah, like you used to have one. So put everything back in there for her. And she was like, can I get movies from downstairs? And I said, you can, but you got to show me what you got. So like, I can tell you if you're old enough to watch it or whatever. Because mostly she was watching comedies. But one day she went down.
You're literally taking the role of like a video store clerk in your house, being like, you got to be 18 to rent that.
Yes.
Or slip me a $20 bill on the low.
So one day she goes down there and she comes back up with my DVD of the original It.
Oh, good.
Because she's seen the remakes, It and It Chapter 2. So she grabs that and I said, well, yeah, of course you can watch that. She thought it was the remake.
New one? Oh.
Yeah, she still thought it was the remake, even though the cover is completely different and everything. She takes
Tim
it upstairs.
Curry's on it.
Yeah, takes it upstairs, puts it in, starts it. Like 5 minutes later, comes down and is like, "This is not it. This is like some old movie." And I'm like, "Yeah, like."
Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, so she didn't watch
1990.
it. Yeah, so she didn't watch
Wow.
it because she's like, "That's not it." And I'm like, "But it is though." So,
See, I'm sure that's a whole generation of just like kind of how we were at that young age of like seeing shit in black and white, being like, this is old.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the hip, the new, the now, the me. Where's the me? Me. It's all about me.
what fools we were.
All kids are.
Yeah, I know. Once I hit a certain age,
Okay, most kids are.
Yeah. Once I hit a certain age, I don't know what it was, but it was like, you know what? Like, I'd like to watch some of these 60s horror movies, some of these 50s, 40s, all the way back to like borderline silent era. And I've watched a ton of silent era horror. Like, finally have gotten to that age where I'm like, I am old enough to appreciate this stuff and not just be that arms crossed Roger, like, oh, this is old. Finally got there. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because I'm old. So...
Probably the combination of that, and we can't remember anything from anything new. So, and we don't go to the theaters as much to see as many things. Like, I remember going to the theater to see shit I would never, like, at my age now, would never been like, yeah, let's go to the theater to see that. Like, Master of Disguise.
Yeah.
Not a bad movie, but I've been like, you'd have been, I'd be look at you like, you outside your mind. I'd be like, you want to go see Master of Disguise at the theater tonight? And you're like, no, I'm good.
I mean, that was around the time, like, we had freedom, you know what I mean? Like, we had first gotten our licenses or whatever, and it's like...
Freedom, cash, yeah.
Yeah, what do? You go see a movie? Or you go to the mall? Like...
Ooh, which sidebar to all the sidebars. I did take the 13-year-old to a mall last weekend, our first real experience in a mall. One of the few that are left standing where we live. And she's like, this is a cool place. Of course, she gets into Hot Topic. She's like, I want everything here. I'm like, of course you do. Every teenager does. This is a teenager's like wasteland of all their clothes and style and everything is in this particular building. I come in here now and I immediately start getting agitated seeing like a T-shirt for the 1997 Survivor Series.
Right.
And, of course, none are in my size. And I'm like, who the fuck is coming into Hot Topic that is my fucking age, that is a wrestling fan, and sees this shirt? Who is it? Where are they?
So,
not a single kid is watching wrestling nowadays, let alone watching shit from 97.
Did you ever watch the stand-up comedy special, the original Kings of Comedy? It's got, like, Bernie Mac, Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah.
So Cedric has this bit where he's talking about people smoking cigarettes, and like, you got to be like committed to smoking cigarettes, because like motherfuckers will be like smoking when it's cold, and they like take like 2 puffs and then fuck this, and they run back inside. Like that whole bit. That's how I feel when I go to Hot Topic now, because the music in Hot Topic is so bad that I have to like, that's almost like that cigarette. Like, I can be in there for about 45 seconds. I can make like a loop around the store, and then I got to get the fuck out. I guess it all depends on who's working behind the counter and their music taste, but every single time I go in there, it's like some god-awful shit.
I'll raise you. I've been the old man my entire life, and still, to this day.
To this day.
Like, perfect example. I've felt this all the time. Like, we were talking just before we went live, how this past... At time of recording, this past weekend, I went with the wife to go meet Flava Flav. And waiting in the line to meet Flava Flav amongst all the flavor fanatics, they were playing some Public Enemy on these loudspeakers right by the stage. Mm-hmm. And we're second in line, so I'm right by the speakers. And I'm like, they could really turn this down a lot, and I would be happier. Because their spots are it hits so loud, and I was like, this is not pleasant. And I've always been like, you could turn it down a bit, like it doesn't have to hurt.
You're officially old. Like,
no, I've always felt that, like at events and stuff, like you could turn it down a little bit. Like, I get like the hype and stuff, but you could turn it down a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like thundering so the whole venue can hear it.
That, and I've in the same way about like people with their fucking car stereos. When your car stereo is like vibrating from 40 feet away, like, you're not even enjoying that music, really. Like, what does that person look like on the inside of that car, man?
That was me in high school.
Like, you gotta look like you're inside of a blender the whole time. Like, just, or sitting on one of those paint shakers. Like, this, you can't, like, I could put any music on. I'd be like, you couldn't probably tell the difference. I could put any music on right now, and you couldn't tell it. Because I don't even know what the hell it is. It just sounds like just noise. It's just, and that's an old man describing it. It's just noise.
I was gonna say, there you definitely hit old man alpha omega.
No, but there's not a beat. There's not any guitar. There's no like lyrics being sung. It's just
I hope
I'm like,
someone
who?
listening to this podcast has a big system and you just fucking like woke up their whole neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, just record it on your phone, post it in our Discord. I'd love to see that. Like it's officially turned against me. You can't even make sense of that. Like, are you listening to Guns N' Roses? Are you listening to AC/DC? Are you listening to the Molo Ram chanters outside of the Temple of Doom? I don't know.
You can't tell from outside of the car, but inside the car, it sounds nice.
How does that make any sense at all? I should be able to make more sense of it the further away I get. The further away I get, the worse it sounds.
It's because all you're hearing is the low tones.
What am I hearing? What would I be hearing inside the car?
All of the tones. Yeah.
Don't know how that's better.
Yeah, it's
I
nice.
don't know how that's better.
But
But to tie things back to tones, there's also not in this movie any of what you call your breathy la-las. This movie is super absent of the la-las.
And that, I was going to say, I got sidetracked when we were talking about the pacing of the movie. Because, like, I was going to say, like, the color palette and the score. Because I feel like the breathy la-las, it's a slower pace score. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's not like your traditional like get hyped horror movie score. It's real like somber and slow. And this movie, the score is what I like to refer to as like a score in a box. Like, it could fit pretty much any movie. It's very standard, very like subpar music. And that, I think, affects the pacing. Because it just feels like you open up a box and bleh, here's my movie, here's my pace, here's my score, which is, score helps aid in the tone. So if the score is fast or lame, you know what I mean? I don't know, like, it just, it makes things... It can dictate the pace for sure.
All right, so I don't know why every once in a while I like to go the other way on balancing on the stars. So heads on 1 star. So I'm just curious, on a 5-star rating, who's someone that loved this movie?
Nice.
And I feel like this is appropriately fitting. From Nancy Trevino, February 24th, 2020. 5 stars. I loved it. I appreciate the twist and everything they did in this new adaptation. It was still very effective and scary. It really went to some dark places, and I loved it. I recommend everyone watch this movie with an open mind. Don't watch it expecting it to be just like the 1989 version, which is, I think, a pretty good way to describe what this movie's like. I feel like it's got a pretty good amount of stain, like the first original one does. But yeah, I really feel 2010 Elm Street on it. Like, there might be a better movie still hidden in there. It's not one I'm going to get to a great deal. It's not... It doesn't have it, but it has flashes of it.
Just a bit. Just a bit of it. A dash of it. Well, now that we're done with the Amazon 1-star reviews and 1 5-star review, Evil, what does that mean?
It comes to the... actually a dreaded part of this week's film. It's time to play the game.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It was a myth. Kids used to dare each other going through the woods at night. They knew all the power of that place. They feared it. Those woods belong to something else. The ground is bad, and maybe this be some crazy folklore fairy tale. But there is something up in those woods. Something that brings things back. Sometimes dead is better. Better.
Oh, so good. That's right, it is time to play the game, and if you're new here, welcome. But you're probably scratching your head asking yourself, what is the game? Well, the game is a deep cut in and of itself, where you gotta pick a prop from the movie that we are covering, but it can't be a well-known prop. And since we're covering the Pet Sematary 2019 remake, I don't know any low-hanging fruit props for this movie, so just make it creative.
Yeah, Just be clever with it.
Just be clever. Just be different. You can't have the Pet Sematary sign. How about that? Like, to me, that's the most low-hanging fruit. And you can't have an Orinco truck. Why? Sure.
The scalpel.
Yeah. We're back with the scalpel. No one can have the goddamn scalpel. You can't even have the scalpel from part 2 because he was a vet and he had a scalpel. Don't do that. So, yeah, just pick something random. Leave us a comment here because now you can comment what prop that you would pick, or on our Patreon. Comment there. Anywhere, anyway.
I do know on Podbean. If you're listening on Podbean, you can comment on specific episodes there, and I do check on occasion to see if there's any comments in the Podbean version of the pod. So I'll at least see it there,
yes.
and I'll relay it to Raj.
Yes, or you can join our Discord, which I believe is linked, or you can find us on YouTube at 3B Video. Either way, find us, let us know the prop that you pick from the movie. So, Evil, I think I'm going to go first.
Please, because I couldn't hardly... nothing came to mind. Like, I had to really think for a while on something, because nothing was, like, stood out to me.
I mean, there's a few things in this movie that are kind of like iconic as far as like the poster art goes, or the trailer, or just things like that are pushed to the forefront. But as far as my prop goes, mine's going to be kind of a weird, like, just a random wardrobe choice. And I think what I'm going to take is John Lithgow is wearing a baseball cap at a certain point in the movie, and I think it's for like a motor oil. Wood. Yeah, it's like a Lavelle or Lavette oil company hat, something like that. Like, it's just a ratty old hat that he wears in, a few scenes in the movie, and I thought, like, that's kind of a deep cut. And I'm willing to bet, because I didn't do the research, but I'm willing to bet that whatever company brand is on that hat is some sort of a deep cut for Stephen King. It's probably either in one of his novels, or it is probably a real place in Maine, because they do that every once in a while, a little bit of love for Stephen King since it's his baby. So I thought that would be kind of neat, little John Lithgow hat.
That's pretty good. Two things came to mind. One I thought was almost too much a low-hanging fruit to take.
I'll be the judge of that.
It's the more fun of the two props that I thought of.
Okay.
So the first thing that I would rather have, it actually came to my mind second, and I'll explain all this when I get to my other one, but Judd's pistol.
Nice.
But the first thing that came to mind, but because this movie's so dark and kind of stain-like to a degree, I'm like, it's kind of like the Exorcist prop. I'm like, I want that. Never mind, I don't want that. But the cat doll.
Oh, the dead cat?
Not the dead cat, the doll that is given to Ellie.
Oh, that Ellie has, yeah.
Yeah, and that Rachel's clinging to, looking all wrecked and shit in the bed. Which was the other scene. The wife was like, "Fuck this movie."
Nice.
like, oh, that's good. But I was like, oh, like, even though this is entirely fictional, and try to find ways to make it funny, like, it's just kind of hard on Pet Sematary.
Yeah,
movies.
It's difficult.
It's just hard to find fun shit about it. And even in the prop game, I'm like, that would be a gnarly prop, but like, that would probably upset me to even own.
Just looking at it, like, aw.
Yeah, that's where I've definitely crossed into an older, like, I've turned into Kevin Smith. Like, everything makes Kevin Smith cry. Everything fucking makes me cry now. And even looking at a prop for a movie for a child who did not die in real life, who is alive and well and doing just fine, but died in a fictional film, will upset me.
Yeah, you don't want her little, like, pink coffin. Jesus.
Okay, I did appreciate that was different. Lewis is still working in a fucking college hospital, which I don't understand.
Weird. Yeah.
I don't understand that, but at least the in-laws are not pissed that Rachel married a doctor.
Yeah.
And you do get some dirty looks. I'm like, fuck, is he gonna swing at Lewis here? But luckily we don't.
Unprovoked. Like,
Yeah, luckily we don't get a fight over at the funeral scene, so we were spared that. But I thought for a hot minute, like when we were expecting Zelda to pop out and be Zelda of old, I'm like, is that dad? Because that dad's shooting some fucking glares at Lewis. I'm like, is he gonna take a swing at him before they take off with Rachel?
I'm actually kind of surprised that neither of us. I guess this would be low-hanging fruit for this movie. Would be the like the paper mache animal masks that the like kids are wearing when they
Guaranteed that would
kids.
be. Which I feel like they didn't do enough with that.
I know. I remember we covered this on our YouTube channel.
Way
and we
back
did
when.
a trailer breakdown, and we looked at screenshots. And we had some like lofty expectations and ideas as to what all this stuff meant, and none of it really came to fruition. Like that is really kind of like a wasted plot point. It's mainly just so Ellie starts to question, like, is my cat ever gonna die? You know what I mean? Like that's mainly the whole reason it's there.
But they tiptoe still around there, like they that's another line they flip. Is Ellie in the original's like, let God get his own cat. And this one, it's Lewis flipping out and going, let God get his own fucking kid.
Mm-hmm. Can cats have shampoos?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good summation. Another good summation of like what we were expecting, what they could have done, like glimpses of something you could do with like a bunch of kids, cult-like, these masks doing rituals for funerals for pets, and it's really only there for one scene, and so we can bring back a quick shot of this undead child wearing a mask later. Mm-hmm. And like, I feel like you could have done more, expanded more on that.
They definitely could have done more.
Maybe that's in the deleted scenes we don't remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna check them as soon as we're done. But I mean, I feel like that's a perfect summation of this movie. Too is like you could have done more, but you didn't, and so like we just got to be happy with what we got.
Or couldn't.
Yeah, or couldn't.
Because it's I'll put it on couldn't. There's probably somebody that really did want to. I feel like there's probably people like on 2010 Elm Street who really wanted to go where we wanted them to go, but because it's a major studio, it's a major property, an established property, you're probably cut those. That red tape is cutting things from getting too creative and original too much.
Can you imagine the 40 people in a boardroom telling you not to go like very far with Pet Sematary? Like, you know, hey, we want to make this, because I mean, Pet Sematary is a gut punch of a movie. Imagine being like in that boardroom and you got like 40 suits being like, well, yeah, but does the kid really need to die or whatever? You know what I mean? Like fucking
That's what
dialing
I'd be curious about. Is a child dying in a film as taboo as it would have been in '89? I don't know.
I don't know. I still feel like people
I feel like it is, but I don't know if it's as much.
Right. Pets and kids should never die in movies. Well, this movie, both of them do. So
Pets I'll always be on that board for, but I feel like we've come around a lot on younger people getting it in movies. Like even Summer of '84.
yeah, which that bothered you.
Yeah, there's a death in that. That was like, man, I could have definitely done without that. But I was like, but that's like an example of like, is it getting more like an okay thing? Or just an accepting thing to do? Like, I just don't know if it'd be as big of a battle in the boardroom. Like, you can have this, but you got to have less child death.
Right. I don't know. I would love to be a fly on the wall during like, you know, this is our script. This is what we want to do. Like,
here's the plan.
Yeah, because I'm convinced there is a better movie somewhere in this movie. But on that note, I suppose we should probably get going because, after all, there's a lot of special features out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
It's not just some campfire story.